Evening and welcome back to the ME7 podcast. And following on from last weekend's draw at Fleetwood Town, Gills will try again on a home soil as we welcome Northampton Town, who Priestfield recently relegated, coming down to ME7. It's been a draw and a defeat so far in League Two for both sides, and not a single goal scored in any of the 7 games played by either team so far this season. So are we going to get a goal fest this weekend? Here to assess what could lie ahead is Scoops and Cian, we think for the first time ever in tandem. Good evening to you both.
Good evening, mate.
Good evening.
Now, for those that may have seen a large blow-up to our previous hero, Max Clark, in the background, Scoops, want to explain that one at all?
Well, he signed today, didn't he? Because we signed someone today, didn't we? It was Max Clark, wasn't it?
There's a few giveaways as to why it's not Max Clark. Mainly the what?
Oh, he's a striker, isn't he?
That's
fine.
But we'll cover that one later on. Max Clark is not back. Gareth confirmed it in black and white earlier on today. But weirder things have happened in football. Cian, let's start with you regarding Saturday's game. The reaction to Fleetwood draw was largely positive, wasn't it? First point on the board. But at home, pressure cooker gets turned up a little bit, doesn't it? So how are you feeling ahead of this one now that the fans really want a result, don't they?
Yeah, I think Saturday's a big game. It's definitely a big game, specifically upon the backdrop of the last 2 games. A point at Fleetwood, I think, is a good point. I didn't get to say that on Sunday, but I saw the podcast. We were all in agreement. I think most fans know. A point away at Fleetwood this early in the season. And if you look at how Fleetwood have done as well, they swept away Shrewsbury the other night, 2 wins against Chesterfield. Obviously, Chesterfield are going to be up there, most people think. Shrewsbury less, so that's a big point. I think, however, this weekend's really when we need to make it count. A point last weekend isn't amazing if we lose this weekend.
Yeah.
A point last weekend isn't amazing if we draw this weekend. This weekend we need to win. Obviously, Gareth and the boys always go out to win, and we see how that goes sometimes. I definitely think it's a big game. It's a big game early on. I don't rate Northampton, to be honest with you. I really don't rate Northampton in this division. I think they've probably not got a standout player that I'm aware of. I'm looking at their lineup from the last game. No big names that stand out. Obviously, rotation, and they've probably got injuries. I haven't looked into that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think Northampton are the type of teams we need to be beating if we're serious about this mid-table ambition.
And we're already 3 games in, aren't we? And that's what we're saying now. We need to start beating teams. As I mentioned, goalless on both sides. 7 games played, no goals scored from either team. At some point, that's got to break it. At some point, something's got to give in that respect. So, with that in mind, Gills are at home, playing a team that haven't scored yet in any league or cup competition. Do we need to go for it from the offset, or is that should we warn against that on the basis that we're not in great form ourselves, and maybe we need to just kind of see how the game goes, or should the home team be the one to push their agenda early on?
Well, I think we said for the first home game that we were going to be pushing from early on, weren't we? I think for 80 minutes of that game, we were pretty good against Wolves. So obviously, I know we won't talk about the last 15, 20 minutes of it. But from our aspect, 100%, we go for it. I still think we've got a good squad. I do still think we've got good players. I know we've lost a couple of players in the week. Kadeem Harris being out for a long time as well with the ACL is a big loss for us. But I do think we have quality and depth to back that up. So I would say you replace him straight away with Conor McManus coming in, and then you look at it and you just go from the off, because like Cian said, Northampton aren't anything special. And that's going to come back and bite us now. So we're going to clip that, and that's going to be used when we lose 2-3-0 to them at home. But I think we just got to go for it. I don't think we go cautious. I think we've had positive. I know the results don't look like it, but I think we've played quite well this season. And I know results don't show that, but I think we've played all right first 2 games of the season. Maybe not Luton, but first 2 league games, I thought we were pretty good.
And social media now, Scoops, is full of teams, say, accounts snipping bits that fans have said and then using it on a TikTok reel or something like that. So if any Cobblers fans watch this, I'm sure they won't. They will be taking your words there as ammunition to use against us in the future. Cian, Scoops has mentioned there about personnel-wise. Obviously, we will have one definite out, which is Kadeem Harris, who probably will miss a season based on the situation. Obviously, it's real gutting for him. So you'd expect to see Conor McManus come in as a natural left wing back to play in that position. Beyond that, in terms of we can't foresee too many changes, but does the Conor McManus thing now being a first choice left wing back mean that we need to recruit more across the back as well?
I think so. Yeah. If you look at that left wing back position, there's not many players who are a natural there. And I use natural sparingly.
I see one.
I could tell you one as well.
Yeah. But no, there's in the current squad, you've got players who can play there. Maybe, I mean, Nick Freeman's done so well at right wing back. Maybe you can adapt to left, and
let's not can of worms there.
But no,
you just try to rage bait people here tonight because that's what maybe like you're trying to do.
But no,
Alex in the chat, is it in there?
That being said, I think Freeman was all right. I forget what pre-season friendly it was, but he played left wing back. But that's another point. I definitely think.
Cian, is there a difference between players? Because Gareth mentioned about players that he wants to be able to be multi-positional, but is there a difference between playing different positions and then just filling in for somebody because there's nobody else there?
Yeah, there's a difference. You've got players who are naturals in a position, you've got players who can play a position, and then you've got players who are put in a position. I feel Robbie McKenzie's probably a player who can play in any position ish. I wouldn't really fancy him up front again. But that being said, in the 10, he got the assist for John Akinde at Rochdale the other year, so he might be that could be his calling. But
the thing that we hang on to, ASG's fans, the thing that we cling on to.
Like Robbie McKenzie's a perfect example of someone who can play places, but he might not be a natural there. I think Nick Freeman's the same. We have this conversation about Robbie all the time. He's hampered by his ability to play everywhere. I think Nick Freeman's probably being shoehorned at wing back where he'd probably be better in the midfield. Definitely, I'd hope he would. But that's something that if we don't have the depth in the squad, obviously McManus can play left wing back. Who else can we push out there if McManus goes down injured? Are we putting James Brophy there, who's arguably our most creative midfielder for the last 2 weeks? It's difficult and we need to recruit. You're looking at a centre-back cover. You're looking at left wing-back cover. We've got the striker through the door today, but you're probably looking at another midfielder. There's not massive gaps in this squad, and I'm sure it'll come together this week. But you're looking at it and you're going, if this is us until January, we're a little bit bare bones, especially with the bad luck we've had with injuries.
Yeah, and not many clubs will have injuries like people will be out for a few weeks in pre-season and coming back sort of to full fitness, but to have 2 longish term injuries out to 2 potentially key players is a real insight as to just how much bad luck we've had. Scoops, in terms of the opposition, I guess one former Gills player in Elliot List, who played for 4 years for us between 2015 and 2019. Obviously, he's probably lost a little bit of his pace in that time. But does the point still stand that players with pace in the wide areas and up top will be a real threat to our current back 5, or at least certainly the back 3, because of the lack of pace we have in there? And if you talk about the likes of Nick Freeman and we haven't really seen Conor's pace yet, but he's probably more pacey than others. Is there a worry there that anybody with genuine pace to expose that back 3 especially will eat them alive if they come to, only having those 3 defenders really on our books so far, unless we bring somebody else in, like a Sam Gale, that's got genuine pace to track back?
Yeah, I think so. And everybody who travels to genuine seasons play us, they're going to be like, well, that's how we're going to sit back, we're going to allow them to push, and then we set them on the counter attack. Especially when they're trying to play high line with players with 0 to no pace at all. You're always going to try and utilise that against that pace. And yeah, at least he might have lost it, but he was always rapid when he played for us. I think he was unlucky not to get to have a bit of a longer spell with us, to be fair. And I thought he did reasonably well at Stevenage as well after that. And now he's at Northampton. So, I think League 2 is level, and I think it has always been that level. But, he's done reasonably well. And, would he love to come back and maybe score against us? Probably. And, yeah, we've got the back line that he could take advantage of, especially if we are going to do, which we all want to see. We all want to see us push on, high press, high up the pitch, control the ball in our half, We all want to see that, but that is always the risk if we do that. Is we're going to have an Omar Beckles foot race with Elliot List, and nobody wants to see that, do they?
No, I don't think Omar wants to see that either. I still maintain that if Elliot List hadn't been sold, we would have stayed up. Because I feel that we were, because if I recall rightly, we were obviously having, I think we had Dane Oliver and maybe Danny Lloyd was his backup striker. And I just don't think we had anybody with pace in that team, and that would have been the difference for me between, the getting a point at home to Fleetwood or something like that, where we could have exposed back lines a little bit more. But that's probably quite a obscure one.
Attribute that one to Danny Lloyd's injury at Ipswich. If I was that's what I blame that season on, and maybe Pontus Dahlberg at Charlton, maybe, or maybe Steve Evans on having 15 players behind the ball at Bolton. But I'm over it. I'm fine.
Yeah. There's
no PTSD there at all.
Memories there.
Nothing.
I will go on to comments that are relevant to the conversation piece at the time. And Dave's sitting in the pub but still commenting. A bit sad, but okay. Dobson Smith are not slow, but they've hardly got what you call pace. Yeah, absolutely agree on that one, Dave. And
it's a lovely picture, Dave. It's a lovely picture, though, Dave. Lovely picture, Dave.
Yeah.
Not sure about the Daniel Powter hat, but that's all right.
You know what? We never bad days, but we need it really. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Cian, talk about midfields. One player that's not gone under the radar as such, but has maybe been, because he's been so good, he's been, kind of left out a little bit, is Zane Albarus. We talked about him in spells, but because we're always talking about who plays alongside him, be it Mackenzie or Little or somebody like that, we don't really mention what Albarus has done well so far, which is he's been a real kind of asset so far in the 3 games that we've seen him in sort of competitively. What we've made of him so far, what's his potential, and what do we do to get the right players around him? Like, I see Albarus as very much like a sort of a defensive, breaking up sort of play and letting other players go. Whether we've got the other players to go yet is another matter. But what have you made of Zane so far with his start?
I think he's probably been the standout performer and the most probably unexpected player. You expect it somewhat with him coming from such a prestigious academy. But if you look at our signings of the summer, everyone expects and thinks James Brophy is going to be the star, for example. But I've honestly been more impressed with Zane Albarus. I think he's exactly what we've kind of missed in that midfield for a few years now. He's someone who he'll get stuck in. He'll chase you halfway down the pitch just to win the ball. When he does get the ball, I think he's very impressive with his speed of thought as well. He always knows where he's going to pass that ball. He knows who's around him and where it can go. He looks very assured. And I think that's something that we've missed for a few years. And that's no disrespect to the midfielders we've had. We've obviously went for more physical midfielders. If you look at the likes of Ethan Coleman, Robbie McKenzie, who are still at the club, they're not going to be able to do what Zane Albarus does. And we mentioned the lack of pace in the defence, but I also have been very impressed with Zane Albarus's ability to chase down from distance and get right on top of a player when they're trying to take that touch. He's been very good. In terms of midfield partners, you're thinking maybe Nick Freeman for me. I think Nick Freeman's been given a hard job at right wing.
Comment comes in, it completely derails your train of thought.
Yeah, I need to get rid of it on the side. But no, I think Nick Freeman could be probably that midfielder who can do that and kind of have. He has that. Nick Freeman, you think, has that more technical side of him. He can put his foot on the ball. He can play it out wide. Something that at Fleetwood, I don't know if you noticed, when he was coming up that right wing, he kept on looking outside to play it to the right wing back.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm the right wing back."
I am that guy.
Yeah, but I think that's probably, you want someone who can calm him down. I think that's a big thing. Whether that's your Armani Little, whether that's Omar Beckles behind him, giving him a word in the ear. But I think this whole season is going to be about who plays next to Zane Albarus.
Yeah.
And he's what? He made his professional debut in the league last week against Walsall. He's no more experienced than Logan Dobbs in men's football. And look at no disrespect to Logan, I think he's done very well. But you can kind of tell, like, Harry Waldock, Zane Albarus. You need to make the most out of these Premier League youth players, I think. And obviously, with the new striker signing on loan, maybe we can do that as well.
Yeah, and I think, we don't want to get carried away, but with Zane being a different sort of player than we've seen in that midfield for quite a few years, it does. He sort of is almost stripes of like Hessenthaler and Smith about him in a sense of just he does the things that need doing, and hopefully will allow other players around him, the more creative ones, to take up the mantle and do like Ali said about having a box-to-box player alongside him to make Albarus's job as very much the sort of fetcher and hunter-gatherer. I also think that Zane's going to be our first red card of the season. I think he's a red card waiting to happen, but depends on the situation, I guess. I don't think he's going to crunch somebody in the air. I think he might take two players out in succession one day, but
maybe a Ronan Hale head loss at some point if we're not
potentially.
Could see that happening. But the other thing I was going to say that Zane reminds me of, there are shades of Dom Jeffries in there. There's a lot of where Dom Jeffries was very much a player that I felt was a massive loss for us when we lost him. He was that midfielder who worked hard, chased the ball down, got into really good positions and got the odd assist here and there. I feel like that's the first time with Zane Albarus is the first time we've found somebody to replace that. And I feel like we've missed that a lot over the last couple of seasons.
Anyway, this is going to turn into a Anita Bong hit and Dave rap battle over there. So let's move on. We have transfer news today. We have a new player in the door. Lamine Silla on a season-long loan from Nottingham Forest. We've done this before, haven't we? With kind of youth players from Premier League clubs. We had Ash Agbenoni on loan, JJ Morgan on loan. Obviously, he's gone on to better things. Young players from PL2 sides that have not yet had sort of men's football experience can be either a risk or a blessing, can't they, really? So it's a striker. It's one that we need in terms of maybe something a little bit different with a little bit of pace. How do you feel about this signing? Is it a bit of a blank canvas to see how he adapts to League Two football?
Yeah, it's just quickly to Anita. I've got a static caravan, so mine doesn't go round the wheels on my house. So just like to make that clear. So from a Premier League point of view, like the loan signing, I think it's one of the ones where we wait and see, isn't it? We've had some loan signings over the last couple of years where obviously we all still talk about Hurtado. He's probably a club legend who's played the least amount of games that we've ever heard about.
He's not. Let's get away from that right now, shall we? I can't stand
Yeah, I know from that aspect, but I think we wait and see, to be honest with you. Obviously he was at Olympiacos last year, wasn't he? So he was playing at a decent level. And I just think we can't just pin all our hopes. I think we've got a good. I think Will Goodwin's been pretty good on the first couple of games. He's had a couple of half chances. I know a lot of the purists will be like, we should have put that one away. Ronan Hale, he's had a couple of chances, but he's not looked like his full self those first two games. So I still think we've got a good front line there. Let's give him a chance, see what he can do. If he's got a bit of pace, which we're missing, why not take advantage of that?
Yeah, true. And again, it is one of those, isn't it? It's a low risk kind of move for us. Realistically, we've got loan spots in the squad to utilise, and if he does turn out to be good, we've got him for the season. Hopefully, there's no sort of callback clause on that deal, and we can use him for the season. Or if he's not very good, then at least if you have got him for the season, then we're stuck with him, really. But let's hope he comes in with a little bit of something different, a little bit of a fresh perspective, and he wants to, to put himself in the window, doesn't he, to go and play league football. And
we're a big club as well.
we are a big club. Yeah, we're a big club in Gambia.
That was mad. It was so mad. That
I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen the clip, and that's what I really need to see. Let's have a look at what someone that isn't a Millwall fan is saying. Yeah, so Ali, 3 loanees, possibly. Oh, to be fair, that's actually going to be my next question to you both. So, Cian and Ali's read my mind there. A few days left now of the transfer window being open. We've talked about recruitment already to a degree. We need to recruit, but we know that we still don't want to have too many players in the squad that are ineffective. But we need to A, replace injuries, and B, look at the positions to be filled. So, if you're Gareth Ainsworth and you had the freedom to say, I want to bring in X amount of players in X amount of positions, what would you do?
Oh, that's a fun one. Then let's go through it. At the moment, I think we need a left wing back.
Okay. As cover?
As cover, I rate Conor McManus enough to start there. I think we need a left wing back. If that's on loan from a Premier League team, so be it. The way I see it, I don't want Premier League players to come in and start. But then again, you look at Zane Albarus, and equally as experienced as these lads are, so they could hit. I think we need another right wing back, or we need a player to free Nick Freeman up. So whether that's Robbie McKenzie playing there, but I think we need that. Obviously, Tabarez is going to hopefully be our first starter there, but you need backup there. That one's less so. I think we need at least one centre back, if not two, depending again on how you utilise Robbie McKenzie. I think Robbie McKenzie's probably better in the defence, but then again, Logan Dobbs has done well as well, and Logan Dobbs is going to be at the club no matter what. As Richard Dobson said at the fans forum, he was very clear that younger players are going to stay at the club. Logan Dobbs is available. He's a young backup that can fill in if we need to, so that's not an issue. I definitely think we need some bite in midfield. We need another player in midfield and maybe a 10. So what's that? Left wing back, right wing back, centre back, and a 10. And probably another 3 or 4, 5 maybe, I'd say.
Do you think that's Scoops? Do you think that's feasible? Obviously, we would love to have more players in the squad. I think we need to fill some positions, but given Gareth's adamant in staying kind of small with his squad, obviously, we've also got to think about the fact that I'm guessing Harris and co will be registered, wouldn't they? So they would be a squad member down on paper.
I think you can unregister them when the window shuts.
I see. Okay,
if it's anything like Football Manager,
out for the season anyway, he would probably be out
professional
for a while, and then in sort of recovery sort of situation. So, if we were to discount Harris from the squad as it stands, what would you do then in terms of numbers, Scoops, and where? Position-wise,
Cian's spot on. Left wing back, a cover for McManus. So I don't think we need a starter. Right wing back as well, because I don't think Nick Freeman's really what we need. I think having Freeman at right wing back hinders our attacking options on both wings. Whereas I know last season we've probably flipped it now. Where we've gone from concentrating our attack down Hutton's side because obviously he had the pace. We were going. Now we've gone to McManus now on the left because he's got the pace, but Freeman hasn't. So, I feel like we definitely need a left wing back, a right wing back. I also as well think more than anything, if we do that, I don't think we need another centre midfielder because then you free up Nick Freeman to go into the centre of the park. So I would say I would actually potentially get another centre back in because obviously we're missing Gordon. We don't know how long he's out for. Obviously they said it's not as bad as it was. Still could be 2, could be 3 months from that aspect. So I would say one of them. And I think I would be happy with that, to be honest with you, especially with the striker we've got in today. I think we've got enough cover in midfield. I think we've got 2 quality players in the middle of the park in Albarus and Brophy. I think we've also got the likes of Little, Dak, and Coleman to come back. So realistically, I don't think we need a centre midfielder.
It's easy, isn't it, to forget the players that aren't currently haven't featured so far this season. Cool. Well, we'll see what the next few days bring. Gareth has definitely, indicated that there'll be more incomings coming in. Where they are and who they are remains to be seen. But I'm sure up until Tuesday, there'll be some more ins and outs at the club. Cool. Let's have scores then from you both. I can't see there being many 4-3 predictions, but Cian, over to you first of all for Saturday.
Oh, you see, I'm on a bad run of form because last week my Will Goodwin prediction didn't happen. So someone's got to score, surely.
You think so?
Neither of us have. It would be so Gills not to, but I think you've created chances against Walsall. You've created chances against Fleetwood. Surely one goes in. And it's just a question, is it like London buses where if one goes in, 2 goes in? On the spot, 2-0 Gillingham. Don't know where it's from, but 2-0 Gillingham.
And that's our goals for the entirety of September. Cian, sorry, you are.
I would like also to say we do need a goal of the month on Saturday. That is of utmost importance.
We do. That is true. Over to you, Scoops.
I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for the Gills, and I'm going to go for a completely random goal scorer. I'm not going to go for a James Brophy goal as well. I reckon he'll get his first. Okay,
and Ali has gone for a 2-1 win. Ronan and Kendall to score. It's the only comment on there that isn't Dave arguing with a robot. So we'll just move on.
I don't think he's a robot. That's been polite. That is.
Yeah, I have muted it just for that sake, to keep things ticking along nicely. Cool. I've no idea what's going to happen. I'm hoping that there'll be a goal on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, Dave said it's going to be 3-0, so because he's away, so he won't be seeing it. Come on, let's hope for a 3-0. Let's just hope, to be fair, it's a home 3-0 and not an away 3-0. Guys, let's play a game. Foot in both camps. I like enjoying this. I'm sure you guys have had a look as well, because you both like doing your research. Players that are featured in the burgundy maroon of Northampton Town and the blue and white of Gillingham over the years. Start with some players that are synonymous with both clubs, and where else to start but with Bayo Akinfenwa. Four spells, 2 spells at each club over his career. 21 goals for the Gills, 74 goals for Northampton. A cult hero. Cian, give us your favourite Bayo memory.
I don't really have many.
I forgot that it's a bit. I thought he was more recent than that.
He was, but the celebration, the dance celebration.
The
pink kit.
Tranmere away.
I remember Bayo in his first stint when he was with Cody McDonald up top on loan with Andy Hessenthaler.
What a spell! What a pair!
How many goals did Cody get that season? 27 goals, didn't he, in League Two?
I miss him so much.
I remember going to Lincoln City away in a 4-0 win there. I think Cody got 2 and Bayo got 2 actually, to be fair. And that was the season Lincoln got relegated. So look where they are now. Anyway, but yeah, no, that's probably my best memory.
Okay, and another player that played for both, and still a lot of Gills fans appreciate to this day, was Danny Jackman. 2 spells with the Gills, 1 with Northampton. Came from that way anyway. A player that I really liked here, Scoops, during his spell, left back, left midfielder, central midfielder. Scored some good goals, good delivery with his left foot, and also never aged, did he, either?
Or grew.
No, it's true. A bit more recent then for you, Cian. Obviously, I've already mentioned Elliot List as well. But 2 of our most prolific strikers in recent history have both played for Northampton and Gills. That is Tom Eaves and Dane Oliver. Both without clubs so far. What do you think? I'm just kidding.
Bring them back.
Yeah. Obviously,
we can't have a double bring him back.
Summer anyway, without a club, and obviously Oliver played for them before signing for the Gills. I think he scored 7 goals for Northampton. Sorry.
Oh no, he left Hartlepool, didn't he, Oliver?
He did, yeah. Both clubless. Memories of them players, Cian in particular, Tom Eaves' goal at Pompey, that I'm sure will always live long in the memory. But how surprisingly good were those strikers, considering that they came to us with a really poor overall record? Is that proof that you shouldn't ever judge a book by its cover?
We have a weird thing at Gillingham, I feel. It's a really weird thing that happens. Good strikers come here in a bit pants, and pants strikers come here and do all right. And I think Tom Eaves was he's definitely my front 2 strikers of all time who I've seen is probably Tom Eaves and Cody McDonald. But I was more on the end of the Cody McDonald era. So I could make a case for my specific case that it could be Tom Eaves and Dane Oliver, which is weird to say. And it shows you how pants Gillingham.
I was going to say you've had a pretty pony era. You have to have those 2 as your best strikers.
I mean, I remember Cody, but there's not really. That was more when I was younger as well. I think when did he leave? 2015. Let me Google it. Cody left 2017. So yeah, so that was what my first. I was like 12, 13 when he left.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Also, here, not to make you feel worse, but you've just been called James Corden by the troll in the YouTube chat. So yeah, that's
nice. Another comment on the headphones as well.
I know. Whoever make those comments, these get laughed, don't they? They really.
Yeah, really. Got a pink microphone as well.
Oh, nice. Snazzy.
There we go. Yeah, obviously, you know, as far as strikers are concerned, we haven't seen strikers like that, have we, since there? So, you know, let's go. Few more players that have played a lot of games, mostly for the Gills, have also featured for the Cobblers. Joe Martin, former League Two champion, of course. Lee Martin, former Gills skipper, and Gabby Zakuani, another former Gills skipper from recent years gone by. Let's look at some of the players that have played for both, probably less in terms of less sort of cult hero status. Harvey Lintop was somebody that left the Gills to go to Northampton.
Oh, yeah.
I think he now plays in the National League. I don't know where he plays. I'm not sure. I didn't look it up.
He was at Dover, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, possibly. I think he's fallen down the pecking order a little bit.
Tunbridge Angels.
Sorry?
He's at Tunbridge Angels.
Tunbridge Angels, thank you. Yeah, so National League South. Mark Marshall, John Marquis, obviously a former Gills loanee. Brendan Dickinson, Luke Norris, Antonio German. Remember him, all of the same era.
Antonio German.
Yeah, of course. Some of the players that we've had. One of my favourite players still to this day, a former Cobbler, is Michael Harriman. Played a couple of seasons for us post-promotion, I believe. Really good right back for us. Dean Beckwith, a former Gills youth player, played a few years at Northampton Town. Gary Mulligan was another one who is, you might say, has some cult hero status amongst Gills fans. Well, certainly Lee Clifton anyway. And the first one I can remember going back to 2000 and co was John Hodge, played for both sides a long time ago. It's fun to look down memory lane at some of those players and think some of the dross that we've had, but also some of the legends that we've had at the club. Any memories of any of those other players that I've mentioned, the riffraff at the end there?
Well, I started supporting Gillingham in the season we lost to Man City in the playoff final. So obviously John Hodge was quite a key player and a bit of a tricky player down with his pace, wasn't he? So, but yeah, no, there was Dean Beckwith. I remember he was one of those ones that was a youngster on like FIFA 2005 or 6 or something like that. He used to just sit there and go, "Oh yeah, he'll be a legend soon." But yeah, no, it's yeah, there's some blast from the past there. I'll give you that one. Mark Marshall, Antonio German. Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure blast, more like the firework that doesn't go off, but it was something. Yeah, it's
Gabriel Zakuani, what a player. He's the real firework. Gabriel Zakuani, what a absolute brick statue at centre back.
Yeah.
Have you seen him on that podcast where he talks about the time he found out he was being released by Gillingham?
Yeah.
What a clip that is. What a clip.
Was that under Evans?
Yeah, it was. So he turned up and literally all his shirt was gone and his boots were gone. And literally went into Evans' office. And he was like, "Oh, I thought you were getting a call from Scally," and Scally hadn't called him. So yeah.
And
I think he was another.
Say that things aren't that good now, eh?
I think Zakuani was another who automatically had his contract renewed because he played games the season before. Evans did it with him, and I think Evans did it as well with Barry Fuller. I think Fuller got an automatic extension and then was told where to go.
Well, you should never have a go at Barry Fuller, should you? No, he's absolute legend as far as yours are concerned. Guys, that's pretty much it for tonight. Thank you both for your inputs and for reading some of the comments. We will look at that next time around. Gills fans, seeing as 2 goalless sides go into the game on Saturday, it might not be one that lives long in the memory or screams a lot of goalmouth action, but maybe an injection of something a little bit different up front can give us a surprise. Back on Sunday to hopefully talk about a game that's got at least 1 goal in it, but also 3 points as well. You got the Scoops?
Yeah, I'll just give him back to Clark a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I thought you were giving him the finger there, but you know.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
I can't get it. I can't get it. There you go.
Back on Sunday to hopefully talk about a game that we actually win. Thank you to the guys for their input tonight. Thanks to Medway Darts for their continued sponsorship of the channel. Somehow we do have a sponsor. I know, right? And please check out their socials for all the exciting developments as far as Medway Darts are concerned. We'll see you on Sunday. Until then, come on, you Gills.
Cheers, Anita. All the best.